titled this one Adventures in Dawah. Why? Because something I said in another blog that you know, this nasheeds that I've done, it's really just an extension of what I do or what I've done before, which is to give dawah, and I've just found another vehicle to do it, which is singing. So it's something that I feel that my experiences, hopefully, inshallah, will be of benefit to you. Now, I got into dawah because the guy who gave me shahada, he was a guy, he was a brother, a very good brother, mashallah, who was very much into spreading the message of Islam. And this is how he attracted me to it, his enthusiasm and his love for the deen. And he always, from a very early age, drummed into me the idea, the concept, the reality that we have to now be conveyors of the deen of Islam. And that's always stuck with me. Throughout my activism, that's always been something that has stuck with me. So it wasn't something that was natural for me, because I wasn't particularly a person that was interactive with a lot of other people. I wasn't a person that would go and speak to a lot of people. But what happened is that I moved to Milton Keynes, a place in London, in the UK, 50 miles outside of London, and I got a job working in the cinema, and there was, for me, the perfect opportunity to give dawah, because I was there hours on end, speaking to people on a regular basis, having contact with them, and of course could talk about a number of things. And of course Islam came into the picture. So I found that I was able to debate with people, and then I could then you know, debate with them, show them leaflets, show them videos and this type of thing. And that kind of encouraged me. The response that I got from people and the supposed antagonism between Muslims and non-Muslims that we supposedly see, I don't buy it. I think it's nonsense. I think it's rubbish. I think 99% of non-Muslims are very sympathetic to the message of Islam. 99.9% people that we see walking up and down, they're really nice people, they're great people, their hearts are open, and they will only believe the misinformation if we allow it to go unaddressed. And once you have the courage to speak to them about something, any given issue, you'll find that they're very open, and that will encourage you to go further and further. Because, you know, one of the reasons I believe that people don't talk about Islam to their colleagues or to their people in university or colleges or friends or whoever, is that they feel that they are not equipped to spread the deen of Islam through talking about it, and they feel that they may get shot down because they don't have enough information, they don't have enough knowledge about Islam. And I think that once we begin to take those first steps into the fields of dawah, you know, having a little courage to just talk about Islam, you don't have to give a big sermon, just a few tiny things, you will find that you'll grow in confidence. And of course, coupled with going to the library, you know, and reading up on stuff. You know, when I was working at the cinema, there were students there who were students of embryology and biology and Darwinism and atheism and nihilism and all these type of isms. So I was confronted with a lot of knowledge, and I'm thinking, well, how am I gonna, what is it in Islam that I can use to counteract their arguments? So the only thing I could do was, of course, was to research it. Went to the library, read about quantum physics, read about evolution, see what other scholars are saying, Ahmed Deedat, Jamal Badawi, Hamza Yusuf, Bilal Phillips, see what they say, and then come back and then try and debate with the people. And mashallah, it was very successful. And I began to pick up techniques. For example, my own brother, who was not a Muslim, you know, whenever he said he was coming around on the phone, he's coming around to the house, I would conveniently have an Islamic video playing, and it would be turned down a little bit low, but I would send him into the living room where it's on and say, oh, I'll be there in a minute. And it's on. Obviously, he can't turn it off. He's forced to watch it. So I'm there next door, waiting about 5 minutes at a really juicy part of the film. And then I would go in and talk about him. And they say, oh, let me get your cup of tea. And I'd go off and he'd be forced to watch it. Another technique I would use is that I would accidentally leave dawah leaflets in people's houses. Or accidentally leave a dawah leaflet in somebody's car. So sooner or later they would find it and look at it and get curious and say, whoa. And then I could say to them, oh man, where was that leaflet? I left the leaflet in your car in your house. And they say, oh yes, I found it. It was quite interesting. That technique, it works again and again and again. I'm working at the cinema. There's a guy there. And he knew I was Muslim. Everybody knew I was Muslim. And he said to me, wow, you know, because we had a debate. He said, that's really interesting. Have you got anything to read? I said, yeah, I can give you some pamphlets and leaflets and what have you. He goes, yeah. So I gave him a few. 2-3 weeks later when I saw him, because we had different shifts, I saw him again. He said, okay, what do I do now? I said, what, do you want some more leaflets? He goes, no, what do I do now? I said, what, do you want some videos or something? He goes, no, I want to be Muslim. So I said, are you sure? 2 weeks later, the guy took Shahada. You know, another guy who I was working with, he was bowling through. He heard about me because there's a local barbers and I had one of my paintings there, Malcolm X painting there. And he goes, oh, are you that Muslim guy? I say, yeah, I'm that Muslim guy. He goes, well, could you kind of hook me up with Islam? I said, what do you mean? I'm dying to give the guy dawah, but I have, you know, you have to kind of play fool to catch wise sometimes. So I kind of said, I kind of acted nonchalant and says, well, I don't know, man, I don't know. The minute I did that, he was definitely more interested. He was more enthusiastic to learn more about Islam. 2-3 months later, the guy became Muslim, you know. So it just goes to show how Allah can open the door. I've got a few more stories like that, but I'm going to stop for a short break now, inshallah. See you on the other side. Assalamu alaikum.
Stop in the name of the Sharia law.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome back. As I was saying about Dawah, you know, some of my experiences in Dawah, you know, hopefully you can draw some inspiration from it. You know, being brave is very hard, and I'm by no means the bravest person going, but you know, Allah has given me a little something, and I've gone forward, and He's opened up the way more for me, and I've gone forward, and He's opened up the way more for me, and through that I've been able to accomplish, you know, some wonderful things by the grace of God, you know. So again, this is something that, again, I think we can help each other with, really. You know, I'm helping you, you're helping me. You know, we can talk about these things. We can think about how we go forward with giving dawah. It's difficult, especially in the climate now at the moment. It's difficult to talk about Islam, you know, but it's not difficult if we don't perceive it as difficult. If we just have a little courage and go forward. And you don't have to be blatant, you know, sometimes you can be subtle. You know, all of the t-shirts I have some kind of Islamic message on it, and it gets people thinking. You know, it gets people thinking about what's your t-shirt. I work in a school and I have a t-shirt saying La ilaha illallah, there is no God but Allah, and all the kids are saying, well, what does that say, what does that say? And because I want them to really know, I don't tell them. And kids being what they are, they persistently ask me over and over again, to the point where the whole class is saying, what does that t-shirt say? And it makes it easier to talk about these things if we can humorize it, if we can put a human face on the whole issue, that we're just like anybody else, that we have our fears and concerns like anybody else. Really, so some of the interaction I've had with non-Muslims, who by the grace of Allah have become Muslims, I'd say numbers about 12 people, you know, that I've given Shahada to, and it's something that, again, it's not something that a lot of people know about me. It's just not something that I talk about, you know, but it's, again, part of what I do. Everything I do, 95% of what I do is to do with Islam, is to do with, if it's children's story, it's given dawah to our own youth. If it's songs, it's given dawah to ourselves. If it's the cartoon voiceovers we've done, or the workshops, the Salahuddin workshops, all the things that I've done is all to do with conveying the message of Islam in different styles, and some of it is ultra modern, and some of it is in street language, but it's basically conveying the same thing. And that begun with a very small seed of trying to convey the message of Islam, and talking to people, and putting yourself in their position. What do they think? What would make me interested in the message? So really, hopefully I've said a few things there that may have been of help to you. Again, if there's anything you want to ask me, feel free to email me at KHALEEL4REAL@hotmail.co.uk, and hopefully we'll see you soon, inshallah, and it's been great to talk to you again, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.